There's a number you need to hear. $1.75 trillion. That's the valuation Elon Musk is chasing for the SpaceX IPO, and it would be the biggest public offering in human history. Not this year, ever. At $1.75 trillion, SpaceX would be worth more than every American defense contractor combined, more than Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Disney, Nike, and Starbucks put together, more than the 10 largest companies on the London Stock Exchange, all stacked up. So here's the uncomfortable question. Who's buying a company that loses $5 billion a year at the most expensive IPO valuation ever? The answer is probably you. And you might not even get a choice. Within weeks, your retirement account could become one of SpaceX's biggest shareholders. Because of a rule, Nasdaq quietly slipped into place. But first, you need to understand what SpaceX actually is, because almost everyone gets it wrong. SpaceX isn't one company, it's 3 businesses bolted together, and the rockets aren't even the part that matters most. Let's start with the ugliest piece. XAI. XAI is Elon's AI lab, and it owns the platform formerly called Twitter, now X. A few months ago, SpaceX absorbed XAI in an all-stock deal valuing the combined company at $1.25 trillion, with XAI alone tagged at $250 billion. How is one Elon company allowed to buy another Elon company? I genuinely don't know, but it happened. And XAI is a disaster. It launched with 11 co-founders from DeepMind, OpenAI, Google, and the University of Toronto. By 2025, it was burning over $1 billion a month, and by March, all 11 co-founders had walked out. Musk himself admitted XAI needed to be rebuilt from the foundations up. For perspective, OpenAI makes around $24 billion a year and is valued near $850 billion. Anthropic makes over $30 billion and sits around $400 billion. XAI? Maybe $1 billion in revenue. Bought for $250 billion. Then there's the rockets, the part everyone pictures. Launches, satellites, NASA missions. Last year that brought in about $4 billion. Sounds impressive, until you remember the $2 trillion valuation. It was only about a quarter of total revenue. Which brings us to the crown jewel. Starlink is satellite internet, basically Comcast in space. It launched in 2020, and 6 years later, it's the fastest scaling telecom in history. Over 10,000 satellites in orbit, more than 10 million subscribers across 150 countries. In 2025, Starlink pulled in $11.4 billion, about 61% of SpaceX's revenue. And the margins are insane. 41% 2 years ago, now 63%. There's also a maritime version, an aviation version, and a classified defense version called Starshield, with Pentagon contracts. So that's the real SpaceX, a cash machine in Starlink, a decent rocket business priced like it colonized Mars, and an AI lab burning $1 billion a month. Together, the company lost nearly $5 billion last year on $18.5 billion in revenue. So who's buying this at $1.75 trillion? Still you. And here's how. On May 1st, Nasdaq adopted the fast entry rule, with SpaceX targeting a June listing. Convenient timing? The Nasdaq 100 is tracked by over 200 funds holding more than $600 billion. And those funds are basically forced to buy your stock. Billions in automatic demand. The old rules required a 3-month wait before joining. The new rule cuts that to 15 trading days. The old rules required at least a 10% public float. That minimum? Gone. And the kicker? A hidden multiplier. For companies with a float under 20%, Nasdaq now counts it as 3 times bigger. A 5% float gets weighted like 15%. And it's not just SpaceX. OpenAI and Anthropic are eyeing the same path. Nasdaq didn't rewrite the rules for one company, it rewrote them for a whole class. Most IPOs give retail 5 to 10%. SpaceX is targeting 30%. Their CFO told bankers retail buyers are loyal to Elon, so they want to reward them. Translation, insiders with a rock-bottom cost basis sell to retail and passive funds at peak valuation. As portfolio manager George Noble said, your retirement fund is the exit liquidity. If you own any U.S. index fund, within weeks of this listing, you'll own SpaceX. No vote. No choice. Passive investing was sold as the smart, set it and forget it move. And it is. But the same mechanism that buys the index for you also buys whatever squeezes into it without asking you. And right now, someone just squeezed in.